Hello and welcome to Witness. I'm Raghi Omar. Filmmaking is an intensely personal business, so much so that sometimes the subject can become more important to the director than the film itself. Tagreed El Sanhouri was overtaken by events when she traveled to Sudan to make a film about the Maigoma orphanage in Khartoum. It opened in 1961 and now takes in more than 30 babies each month, a response to the growing numbers of illegitimate babies being abandoned in Khartoum. The orphanage is a lifeline for these children, but with limited resources, it has to let them go when they reach the age of 5. And it's that fact which triggered Tagreed's move from dispassionate filmmaker to a powerful engagement with Abdel Sameh, a blind 4-year-old. The result is Orphans of Maigoma, a remarkable film in which issues of life and death overtake the original purpose to profoundly moving effect.
It's midnight at Maigoma orphanage, and yet another abandoned baby is brought in by police. The orphanage is on the outskirts of Khartoum, in the suburb of Maigoma. It takes in more than 30 babies a month, either left on their gates or found in the streets. The orphanage was built in 1961 to cope with the growing number of babies being abandoned in Khartoum. I'd heard about the orphanage when I was visiting family on a previous trip to Sudan and was curious to see it.
أسكر ربنا زي ما جاب الأولاد دين وجاب جلد هنا اللي بيحصل شنو ما معروف أصل لو جا كلب ما بيكركر باكله ده ما حساب الناس خليه يخافوا ربنا ما يخافوا زول
إن شاء الله ما يلي تاني في حياته ده يكون آخر يا أيوة غلطان إذا غلطان المفروض يجيبوا لنا يقول لي عزل جنانا ما داير مش أحسن أنت شفت ده أنت شفت ده فده تعال شوف ده انت شفتيه؟ كله جرى يده ده
ini ده في ناس كان إيميل بالعرام اللي بيقول قال غير شرع ده جنا ده كان ولده بيقول لا 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 ما دارين جنا ده هم دارين بيتهم ليه هم دارين بيتهم ما دارين جنا ده ليه؟ ها؟ بدا أمل غلط خلاص أمل غلط ده يقعد مع جناه ربع جنا ده يمكن بنفعكم فيما بعد.
شوف الأم بيكون حاولت تدخلها في الدبلسي هو ما قدر يخش هو أول كده.
What I saw there shocked me. I couldn't get the images out of my head. Dehydrated babies regularly being brought in, toddlers traumatized from being abandoned. As a Sudanese woman, I knew that not many people would even know about the orphanage's existence. Few Sudanese would believe that births outside marriage were so common that it would be needed. Sex outside marriage is a crime in Sudan, and a baby is proof of that crime. It brings shame to the entire family, and many of the women feel they have no choice but to abandon their babies in the streets. It's estimated that 1,500 babies are abandoned in Khartoum every year. The lucky ones make it to Maigoma, but many more die unrescued. The new baby, Khadmallah, is cold, wet and hungry. She's lucky to have been found alive, but she's very weak.
لا ما تبدو من رماقي بالك ما أكلت حاجة كيف جاء
جوليا قلت لي تحس الحاجات الأم خادمة اللي جابتهم بيحتفظوا بيهم بيها ولا كيف؟
لا ما بحتفظ بهم يعني نحتفظ مع أطفال بس ما أشوفها ما عندنا ناخذ من الحاجات دي.
I try to understand more about the legalities from the policeman that found Khadmallah.
الألومة اللي عملت العملية دي بيكون هسه ضميرها مأنيبة يعني لحظة اللي غانا معاك ده هي بهناك ضميرها مأنيبة يعني في النهاية أم ووالدة يعني.
مثلا بنتي تبلغ نفسها عن إن الإجراءات شنو حتتعرض لمحكمة؟
نعم حتتعرض لمحكمة نعم حتتعرض لمحكمة
لا بلاغ بتاع الزنا
البلاغ بتاع الزنا اللي هو عندنا في القانون الجنائي هي اللي هي المادة 146.
اشرح لي ما فهمت.
يعني عندنا في القانون الجنائي المادة 46 اللي هو يعني الزنا يعني إنه عقوبة الزنا
وبعدين هي بتتعاقب القاضي يعني بحاكمها بالجلد حسب الشرع يعني
حسب الشرع.
روان سوق عند سميع توتو يا روان بنتي ماسين وين؟
The nannies tell me not to let the children get too emotionally attached to me because it will be painful for them when I leave. But it's difficult. Everyone here falls in love with the children.
دوري ويا ناس حبيبي ناس دوري ماشي وين هذا الظريف والله ظريف حيدر ده من جابوا لنا عمره شهر يلا كان يعني حجمه صغير شديد وما كان بيشرب الوجبة بتاعته لأن كنت بأي طريقة بكوباية أو بالحنة بشربه لحد ما صحته صلح شوية عمل معانا 4 شهور كده.
المستقبل حيكون شنو
بتمنى إنه المستقبل يكون أحسن من كده بكثير على ما نكون في أسرة ما زي ما يكون قاعد هنا.
Nanny Sarah has clearly bonded with baby Haida. I see how hard it is for her to let him go to his new foster mother, even though she knows it's for the best.
كلهم بيشبهوني طبعا دمه خفيف شديد الدكتور بيجي بمر على الأطفال الطفل لو عنده التهاب أو عنده أي حاجة كان عنده عيون ساي كده وجع عيون الدكتور ما بيمرق ما بيخرج نهائي ما بيمرق يلا الطفل ده يعني صحته كويسة يعني ما عنده مشكلة
زول هادي وما عنده يعني ما بيبكي
طبعه هادي الحمد لله
إن شاء الله هيجي الاهتمام
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله
The orphanage is funded by government grants and private donations and can only afford to look after babies until they reach the age of 5. Those not adopted or fostered by then have to move on to much more crowded state institutions and face an uncertain future with much slimmer chances of adoption. As I spend more time watching the children, one child in particular stands out for me, Abdus Samir. He lost his eyes to cancer as a baby, but he is a lively, charming boy who is adored by the staff of the orphanage.
ايوه السلامه يا عبد السميع كويس
دي مش احلى من دي كده؟
هاي دي حلوه لونها ذاته فرايحه دي حلوه شديد
مش داري لكم لبسه بعد العمليه البسها؟
نازل
نازل
اي
بابا الولد ده حلو شعر لابس عفاف ده انت ودي حقنه طب ده انت حقنه انت ما تمشي مع الدكتور بيض عنك حقنه بيض عنك بيض عليك
A hospital has responded to an appeal for Abdus Sami' to have an important operation to have glass eyes fitted into his empty sockets. He will never see again, but the surgery will allow his skull bones to develop normally. I hadn't realized how involved I was, but seeing Abdus Sami' emerge from the first stage of the operation, I was so relieved that I forgot to stay behind the camera. I had been so worried about letting Abdus Sami' get too attached to me that I didn't realize that it was me that had become attached to him. I wanted to be there for him throughout the stages of the operation.
Join me after the break as Tagreed's relationship with Abdul Samah begins to deepen in ways she had not seen coming.